Yo, what is going on, Steeler Nation? We are back with probably the most wonderful time of year besides the actual season. Probably the most wonderful time of the off season. We have the draft in 4 or 5 days. And today we're gonna be doing our mock draft episode. We put a lot of time into this, just kind of going through names, looking at what we need. And this might not be even close to what the Steelers do in the draft, but this is just an idea of what we think we should do and what positions we should fill out, of course, and what round. Joined today by my co-host, of course.
Yeah, what's
Oh,
up?
Yo, how's everyone doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
I'm doing all right.
All right. So what do you guys think, like, so far this off season leading up to the draft? Um, some will say that we really could just go best player available just based off our free agency. But really, what do you guys think?
Honest, I mean, we
We
don't
go
have
best
any.
player available.
What happened?
Hmm?
I hope we go best player available. That's what I want us to do.
Uh,
Yeah, I was gonna say like we just picked up Edmonds like on a 1 year deal that's super cheap, so we don't have any real big holes anywhere. Like
like we have a starter
anywhere.
we can name off the top of our head for each position as of right now, right?
Yeah.
It's all about upgrading, right? And maybe getting better depth. And there's just a lot going around the league right now, especially at receiver. I think that's probably gonna be our biggest need in this draft, or a position we'll probably draft the most of. And speaking of receivers, Deontay Johnson. There's a lot of unknown about him right now. We don't know if he's gonna hold out. We don't know how much he really wants at his contract. And in the round of league, you have the option of Debo Samuel. I saw earlier this week. Basically demanding a trade. And of course, we kind of get thrown out there, of course, because we have a receiver that also wants to demand a good salary. And there's also a lot of rumors, not rumors, but just like potential trade options of Debo. And what do you guys think about that? Should we go that route?
Trading for Debo is definitely not on the cards. I really don't want another I don't like player empowerment at all, mainly because I'm a fan of the team. I don't really give a shit about the players. And like it's just how it is, you know, like if you're on my team, I'm all for you, but like as soon as you start being difficult, then it's like I don't care. Like I don't want a player like Debo on my team. I think obviously like players should get paid what they're worth. Um but as far as having players like that, I don't want him. I think he's gonna be a fucking sick ass player, right? I think he'd fit the offense Canada's trying to do pretty well too, right? It's impossible to not slot him in any offense and have success with him. Um, but
We learned the hard way with players demanding too much and kind of just like making the team about them and AB and Bell a few years ago. And yeah, it's kind of easy now to stay away from that, knowing what the possible outcomes could be. Yeah, I could see that. We also mentioned Edmonds earlier. What a heist of the century here, throwing up the smokescreen all off season long about getting Honey Badger just for us to get Edmonds for like $4 million of what he would have gotten at his fifth year option, right? Y'all see that?
You got like 2.5 instead of the 6.5.
I think it was like 6.75 million that he would have gotten if he picked up his fifth year option, and that had to be done last offseason, right?
Yeah, after his third year.
So that was another thing. So those are like the two check marks besides quarterback, obviously, that we kind of had in mind. Wide receiver and what were we gonna do at safety in this draft. So safety's all good for now. Maybe we get Edmonds' replacement and let him sit for a year this next season. But we also need receivers. We don't think we're gonna go to Debo Samuel route. I think he ends up getting paid by the Niners, and I think we also end up paying Deontay Johnson. Having that, we also lost 3 receivers in this draft. We've only really picked up a return specialist to kind of fulfill what Ray McLeod left. And what's his name from the Ravens? That receiver,
oh,
Miles
Boykin?
Boykin.
Yeah.
I really don't know what his position is gonna be, if he'll make the team or what. But we still need more options. So without further ado, let's get into it. The first round with the 20th pick. Who wants to read it off? What we'll think is gonna happen?
I mean, this is honestly Chewy's guy.
So we're gonna go with Matt Corral in the first round.
Oh my God. Why not?
Quarterback.
Why not Kenny Pickett or Malik Willis?
I think Willis will get overdrafted, and I think Corral has just more high-end talent than Pickett does.
The potential is definitely higher than what Kenny Pickett would bring. With what that being said, I think Pickett's a great player. I would have loved for him to go to the Steelers, but I honestly don't think he gets out of the top 12 maybe. And same with Malik. Um, do we trade up? That's why
But
I'm really excited for this draft. Like I feel like this draft I have to be glued to the screen from the beginning because I don't know what we're gonna do. I don't know if we're gonna trade up. Do we like Malik Willis this much? Has it been smokescreen this whole time? I don't know. But
there's been so much talk. Yeah,
I
there's
I,
been so
I
much talk
like
about
Corral.
Malik.
I like Corral at 20. I'm not an expert by any means, but just seeing the film and just getting to like know like what he's about. I mean, you guys could read off some of the things we have written about him here if you want.
I really like his release. It's probably one of the quickest I've seen coming out of college in the last few years. Um, I think he has a great arm. I think he does have the best arm out of all three of these guys. I don't think he can make every throw that Malik Willis can make, but I don't think Willis can make every throw consistently like
Right.
Corral can.
He also SEC played the best. He played the best of the best.
Yeah, he did face the best talent. I'm assuming in his college career out of let's say the three, Kenny Pickett, Malik, and Corral. That's one thing I really kind of skeptical about Malik Willis. This guy only played he played at Liberty. I don't really know what teams he played there or played against. But Corral, I mean, he's been tested. He's gone up against Alabama. It hasn't been pretty, but he's played the best of the best in college. This guy has heart. I mean, the way that he went into that bowl game. What bowl was it? The Peach Bowl?
I'm not sure, but he
No,
played in it another.
was it Cotton
He,
Bowl, Peach Bowl? I don't know. But he played
it
in
was a New Year's
it,
thing.
got injured. He didn't need to play in it, just like Kenny Pickett didn't play in his bowl game. Um, he did get injured, and I think that's why his stock's falling probably. And who knows? Maybe we trade down and we still get Corral. That could happen too.
I think Corral is just gonna end up being a great face for the franchise, for any franchise.
Oh yeah, he's handsome.
He's
He
handsome.
might be more handsome than Jimmy G. I'll tell you that. But yeah, the guy he can run the Canada offense. I really feel this guy is athletic. He has the arm. It's just a matter of being accurate, and I think adjusting to the NFL size. I think one thing about him is that he's small. He needs to put on some mass. He needs to put on some muscle, which is fine. We have Trubisky already. He could sit a year, and then in a year, maybe he's more built. He's able to be more dynamic. He's able to take the NFL hits, and he has a bright future. I feel could be the face of our franchise. But along with most rounds too, we do have a second, third, maybe even a fourth option that we'd like to see us go. Just because there's many routes we could go. You know what I mean? Like, for example, if we don't want to take a quarterback, I'd like to see us go O line. I feel like there's a lot of talent in the first round. We have Trevor Penning from Northern Iowa written down here. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on him.
He's just a super physical run blocker, which is gonna be great to have in front of Najee.
And we need a tackle. I think that's definitely our needs. Oh, we didn't get into our draft needs. We read it at the top here that we got quarterback, receiver, O line, DBs, and linebackers. I think those are our biggest needs. I think receiver and DB specifically. Said earlier. But heading down to the second round here. This is where things kind of get interesting because you really don't know who's gonna be available. The draft is just a whole bunch of curveballs. But around this time in the draft, we'd like to see us go receiver. We have a couple names here, such as George Pickens and Sky Moore. Like we said earlier in past episodes, this is a really stacked receiver class in the draft, right? I don't know if you guys want to elaborate on that.
I think there's a ton of receiver talent, and it's another big reason why we shouldn't trade for anybody, honestly.
Or
And
even pay Deontay that much, which we kind of talked about in the
yeah,
past.
exactly. And the thing is too, like the receiver market's getting so inflated, but I think it's like bound to come down because of how many like pro ready receivers are getting pumped out of colleges lately. Like year after year, you see a lot. You see several guys come out and they're making big splashes in their rookie years.
Look at Jamar Chase. I mean, Jamar Chase was like a top 5 talent, so that's expected. Even then, like we found receivers in any round in the draft these last like 10, 15 years. And I'd be surprised if Colbert didn't make one last big splash at a receiver coming out of the draft this year. Um, that being said, I do think we do take multiple receivers in this draft. I don't know who do you guys rather see us? We have a couple other names here written down. Um, just kind of based off the PFF simulations, who are some of the best available at the time. I know PFF's full of shit. Um, but we kind of did base a lot of it off of those simulations. We have a couple of other names written down here. Like for example, if we do go Corral and we don't take a tackle in the second round or in the first round, in the second round, I do see us kind of getting another tackle. I think we've written down I almost said Lincoln. Lucas here from Washington State. And another option is going corner this early in the draft as well. We have Marcus Jones out of Houston. And a lot of these guys just really had impressive draft profiles based off their combine and all that. Definitely a lot of talent in the market this draft as well. Now, in the third round, pick 84. Who wants to read this off? I think.
All right, so we're gonna go with Jalen Armour Davis from Alabama, cornerback. I know he's not really rated highly on a lot of people's boards, but I really liked him. I compared him a lot to Trevon Diggs from 2 years ago at Alabama. I felt like he was just as good. He doesn't have it like the speed and like all of that stuff, obviously, but I think he's just as good of a corner in college. Obviously, we know what Diggs did this last year, but I think in the third round we would be really happy to get someone like this.
Yeah, I mean the guy's 6'1" and ran a 4.40. I mean, the guy's athletic. We need a lot of DB depth. I feel like
Actually,
because what's up?
in our division, it's crazy.
Oh yeah, for sure. In the AFC as a whole, we need a lot. We need the best DBs we could get, and I think eventually we'll hit on one of these. We have more than a couple DBs on our board here. And Jalen Armour Davis was just high up on a lot of people's top DBs in this draft. He's gonna be available in the third round. If he's gonna be a good pick in the third round, maybe we could draft him even later in the draft. That's an option. That's an option as well. But another guy I liked was Damari Mathis out of Pitt. I think he might be the most impressive guy besides Pickett coming out of Pitt. But the guy had a 4.39 40, 5'11, 196. This guy's built. I really feel that he could provide a lot. And this guy had a really good pro day, and there was a lot of eyes watching, especially at the Pitt pro day for Pickett. And Damari Mathis, I feel, was just as impressive as Pickett may have been. I think Damari Mathis could do well in the NFL as well. I'd like to see us trying to keep a guy in Pitt as well. This guy I really like too in the fourth round. Who wants to read it off?
Justin Ross from Clemson.
Justin Ross, big body, 6'4", 205.
Jeez.
I mean, at the fourth round, you don't really know what to expect, but if this guy, if we do go receiver in this round,
what is Claypool?
Claypool?
What are Claypool's measurements? How tall is Claypool?
Claypool's 6'4", right?
6'4", and he ran a 4.41 or something.
Holy
Jesus.
shit!
That's fast.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys remember Justin Ross from the Alabama championship game. Like his freshman year, he was awesome in that game with Trevor Lawrence when they beat Alabama, and he just got injured over and over again. I mean, before he got injured, he was looking like a first-round pick.
Ooh.
Maybe he could, get back to that form. But I think in the fourth round, you take a chance on that talent.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we need multiple receivers. I think the fourth round's a good spot for us to take another receiver as well. Because at this point, I think when we go later into this draft, we don't have a fifth rounder this year. So once you get past that fifth round, we're in the sixth and seventh rounds. I really feel like you're drafting guys that ultimately end up around the practice squad. So there's less risk at this point. So Coming on these last few rounds, we have 2 7th-round picks and a 6th-round pick. We have Spencer Buford. This is just another name that came up on the PFF simulator. Offensive tackle from UTSA. Small school, but this guy's huge. I believe we had what 6'4", 304, 519, 40. I mean,
That's huge.
there's
Jesus.
not really much to say because we are getting a lot of this off of PFF, so like we're kind of full of shit. But
Yeah.
like I said earlier, we're kind of just filling out our needs round by round. We're kind of more or less going for what we need based on position, and we're not really looking much into the players. But there's a guy that we are looking for in the player. We're gonna get Cam Hayward's brother with our one of our 7th-round picks in 225. I'd like to see it happen. Um, a lot of people say that there's not really a place for him because he's like a tight end slash fullback. But this guy, um, I've seen a couple minutes of film on him. I think he's a really interesting player. I think he could be a good special teamer. But one thing is, we do have Derek Watt already at fullback, so I'm not really sure where Connor Hayward could fit. But like I said, I think a lot of these guys are just uh, special teamers at this point or practice squad guys. But there's no disrespect to them. Maybe they could prove us wrong. I know we've had a history of even getting undrafted players all the way to being what some of our best players in James Harrison. And then another guy, we'd like to kind of see us eventually just go safety at this point for depth. We have Brad Hawkins out of Michigan, just another like PFF guy that was on the board. But really, that kind of wraps up our mock draft. Just some names out there to keep in mind. I mean, we're not trying to predict what we're gonna pick, like I said, because I know I see a lot of people get a lot of shit for their mock drafts. So really, we're just trying to kind of fill out our needs. I feel like it's getting repetitive, but yeah. Um, One last point, because this draft is so interesting, because it is Colbert's last draft with us. He's been with us forever. Um, we need a quarterback. This is the first draft where we really need a quarterback. Even though we do have Trubisky, I still would rather see us get quarterback. Um, but yeah, what are the odds we trade up? What do you guys think?
I mean, the real odds we trade up with like all the hype going on around Malik Willis, like his draft stock has absolutely shot up, along with what's his name, Dresmond Ritter or whatever.
Desmond Ritter. I would hate to see us get him
I
in the first
I
round.
would I would be devastated if we got Dresmond. Like I don't understand the draft type at all for him or why he shot up so many people's boards. But I think if we trade up, it's probably for Willis. But even then, I don't think the Steelers are ready to trade up for a guy like Willis, like someone that's so raw, someone that needs a ton of work. I don't know that we're confident in our ability to develop QBs because we don't have we're just not experienced
But
in that.
We
on
haven't
top of
done it.
that too, we haven't gotten a
Yeah,
project QB developed. But on top of that too, I just feel like we're more than a QB away from being, even a top 3 team in the AFC. You know what I mean? So putting a quarterback we're trying to develop on top of that is just really not the place here in Pittsburgh for a guy like Malik Willis. I really don't see Colbert also trying to do too much his last draft. I do think he's doing his due diligence and getting as close a look at all of these quarterback prospects, stretching all the way down to a guy like Carson Strong. Um, because we've had what 7 quarterbacks come visit in our top 30.
something like
This
that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, when you think about it too, like, around 20 of these top 30 are guys that are going to be in the draft. The other 10 are just guys we're looking to sign undrafted. So out of that 20, more than a third are quarterbacks we're trying to really, get to know. We have, everyone from Kenny Pickett to Matt Corral, Desmond Ritter, Carson Strong on that list. And I don't know. I'm excited for draft day. We're kind of just throwing this out there just so we could kind of reflect and look back on this when we do our post draft episode next week. It's fucking crazy to think the draft's here already in what Thursday? It's Sunday. Uh, what do you
First
guys
half.
what do you guys think though? Like kind of closing and wrapping this up.
I would say I hope we just stick to what we usually do and not try to not be ourselves.
Yeah. In a way, I think I'm gonna find comfort in being disappointed for this
Yeah.
draft, as just put it like that. I mean, I want Colbert to do its thing. I want us to get, a couple really good receivers. Um, they're not going to be as good as Emmanuel Sanders ended up being. That was a really good draft, but I do want to see us get some guys, some playmakers, to take the load off a guy like Deontay. And I really don't know what to expect from Claypool this year. Um, I would like to see us get a replacement for Terrell Edmonds, just based off what his contract is, just a 1 year deal. Um, I do hope we kind of get a guy that can fill in his shoes and he get the year as a backup in.
I mean, I know we don't have like a safety past like I know we don't have a safety in our round 2 and round 3, but
That's
I think we
one
go
thing I
for one
was about
round
to
3.
say. Yeah, around a day 2 safety,
A day 2
another
safety would be nice.
expectation. Yeah. So bold predictions really based off our draft. We do go quarterback in the first round. Whether we like it or not. Um, we get a safety and a receiver day 2. We'll get another another receiver and another DB day 3. Those are the predictions that I'm just gonna throw out there. I don't know if you guys have any to add on that.
Bold prediction: we trade up and we get a second round pick.
Get a
Okay.
second up. Oh, you mean we trade down?
No. I mean, like we trade like a third or a fourth or something to get another one.
Oh, okay. I see. What about you, Chewy?
I'm gonna go. We don't go receiver the first 4 rounds.
Fuck,
What?
I'd be in
Yeah.
I
shambles
would
in
not
a
take
receiver
that.
draft like this.
What do you see us taking instead of that then? Instead of receiving the first 4, just filling out our O line and D line. But
Mostly, well, probably quarterback, O line, and then DB.
that.
Also, we don't have a linebacker in here, even though it's one of our needs.
It's true.
Well, I feel like I'm confident. I have a weird sense of confidence in Devin Bush and Miles Jack this year for our middle linebackers. I don't know what it is, but I just feel like when you add in the factor of Brian Flores, I really think that's going to be our strong point in our defense.
I do think we brought in 2 linebackers that are in the first round for our top 30. I think Quay Walker from Georgia
Right.
might be someone we take.
I might be in.
And then
Surprise first round pick.
White
I
Walker,
know
yeah.
I like Devin Lloyd a lot from Utah in the first round too. I don't know if we're bringing him in, but he might be there at 20, and I think we might take him.
That being said, this is a pre-draft kind of prediction, but it is our mock draft in here. Kind of shitty mock draft, but that being said,
We're throwing shit at the wall.
we're
but
throwing
like,
shit at the wall, hoping it sticks, hoping the Steelers, who knows? Maybe we'll just look like a genius in the end here, and the Steelers get like 6 of these, like 8 guys we have written out here.
fuck.
Every mock draft is bullshit though, so it doesn't really matter.
That's true.
Honest.
Like
What if
I
we
think I'm
if
putting.
we get
What happened?
if we get anyone on this list, like
That's a
that's like
win in
200
our book.
IQ.
Yeah, like I'm gonna post it on Instagram, like right there.
Fucking called that shit.
But I think I'm just putting a lot of pressure on us because I wanted this to be good, but at the same time too, I do want to be bold in our predictions. But that's gonna do it for us. We'll be back next week, post draft with a overall review on how we did. We being the Steelers, not this fucking mock draft.
Might throw some highlights up.
Yeah, we're really gonna dive deep into how we feel about each pick next time. And the schedule release May 12th. That's gonna be another interesting episode to record. I'm excited for that. And that being said, that's when we're really gonna dive into the off season, and we're just gonna be waiting for camp at that point. We're still gonna be looking for another GM as well to replace Colbert after the draft. We'll have an episode on that as well. But that being said, it's draft time, baby. I'm fucking gassed up. So we'll see y'all in the next episode. Any other closing statements, guys?
Nope.
No.
All right. See y'all later. Peace out.